Welcome to Jesus Christ Prison Ministry and another video Bible study. Our topic, John, Living Water, Part 2. Let us continue following Jesus in his work for the salvation of souls. Everyone wants to be saved, but few are willing to put forth the required effort to be saved. So Jesus returned to Cana in Galilee, where he had turned the water into wine. Meanwhile, in Capernaum, there was a government official whose son was ill. When this man heard that Jesus had come from Judea to Galilee, he went to him and asked him repeatedly to come down and heal his son, because he was about to die. People are willing to come to Jesus as long as they get what they want. They go to church for what they get out of it. It satisfies their ego, pride, and social needs. Like the official, they are not going because they truly believe in Jesus or what he has to offer, but what they can get out of him. It was all about signs and wonders. But to believe because Jesus taught the truth? No. Jesus told him, unless you people see signs and wonders, you will never believe. Now the official had to make a choice. Either accept Jesus for who he was, or wait for the signs and wonders, in which case it might be too late and his son would die. His heart went out to Jesus, and he humbled himself to believe in him. The official told him, "Sir, please come down before my little boy dies." Jesus told him, "Go home, your son will live." The man believed what Jesus told him and started back home. While he was on his way, his servants met him and told him that his child was alive. So he asked them at what hour he had begun to recover. And they told him the fever left him yesterday at 1:00 in the afternoon. Then the father realized that this was the very hour when Jesus had told him, "Your son will live." So he himself believed along with his whole family. I have found this so true in my life. I was raised in a Sabbath church. It was all about church, signs and wonders, conspiracy theories, and famous lives. I looked to Jesus as some sort of magician, a good trick player who could show me signs and wonders when I needed them. But when I found that I needed Jesus, not for the signs and wonders, but for the living water he offers to flow up constantly within me, he was a friend I could walk with, talk with, and trust to handle all my problems and troubles. It changed my whole perspective on life. I want you to experience a whole new life. I want you to find in your life Jesus. The pagan official took Jesus at his word and left. Yet, I do not know of any church people who are taking Jesus at his word. They have accepted the word of the church, but when Jesus tells them to be perfect, to stop sinning, and to keep the 10 Commandments to get their eternal life, they refuse to accept the word of Jesus. Now this was the second sign that Jesus did after coming from Judea to Galilee. Later on, there was another festival of the Jews, and Jesus went up to Jerusalem. Near the sheep gate in Jerusalem is a pool called Bethsaida in Hebrew. It was 5 colonnades, and under these a large number of sick people were lying, blind, lame, or paralyzed, waiting for the movement of the water. How many are lying around church waiting for something to happen so they can be moved or healed? The church is filled with the blind who cannot see Jesus. It is filled with the lame of mind who refuse to believe what Jesus taught. It is filled with those who are paralyzed with fear and refuse to go to Jesus. You don't have to wait for certain times or places or people. Just look to Jesus. He is calling you out right now to follow him. At certain times, an angel of the Lord would go down into the pool and stir up the water. And whoever stepped in first after the stirring of the water was healed of whatever disease he had. One particular man was there who had been ill for 38 years. When Jesus saw him lying there and knew that he had already been there a long time, he asked him, "Do you want to get well?" The sick man answered him, "Sir, I don't have anyone to put me into the pool when the water is stirred up. While I'm trying to get there, someone else steps down ahead of me." The man had been waiting for human help. Too many are waiting on the church. Jesus has pity and love for each of you. You are so dear to his heart. But the noise of church, the fears, the waiting for others is keeping you from Jesus. Jesus told him, "Stand up, pick up your mat, and walk." The man immediately became well, and he picked up his mat and started walking. Jesus is inviting you to stand up, pick up your mat, and walk out of your church. Walk out from those who refuse to come to Jesus and be healed. Go out and share the joy of what Jesus has done for you. Now, that day was a Sabbath, so the Jews told the man who had been healed, "It is the Sabbath, and it is not lawful for you to carry your mat." Typical church people and leaders, more concerned over their rules, traditions, and church policy than the spiritual and physical health of their members. Jesus does a good thing, and church members point fingers, gossip, and do all in their power to turn a good thing into a bad thing. Get out of your church and go to Jesus and find the love and healing that he has to offer. But he answered them, "The man who made me well told me, 'Pick up your mat and walk.'" They asked him, "Who is the man who told you, 'Pick it up and walk'?" But the one who had been healed did not know who it was, because Jesus had slipped away from the crowd in that place. I can imagine that there was no small commotion after the healing. After all, the other sick and lame were watching everyone else. It was a big deal watching a man who had been lying there for 38 years get up and walk. He was probably shouting at the top of his voice, "Look at me, I can walk." However, being the Sabbath day, picking up his mat was against church law. Naughty, naughty of him. How sad that the churches today cannot rejoice in the works of God unless they are done according to church protocol. If God is not working within their church or denomination, obviously the work isn't of God. How sad. And then there is the question of who is the man who made you well? I seriously doubt they did not know. This was a legal question. They needed the man to tell them who it was in order to condemn Jesus as the man who did this dastardly deed. Later on, Jesus found him in the temple and told him, "See, you have become well. Stop sinning or something worse may happen to you." The man went off and told the Jews that it was Jesus who had made him well. So the Jews began persecuting Jesus because he kept doing such things on the Sabbath. But Jesus answered them, "My Father has been working until now, and I too am working." God is not limited by our limitations. He works without any respect to church, denomination, or belief. God works where the need and faith is. not where it will bring glory to a church or denomination. All praise, glory, and honor are to go to Jesus and Jesus only. If it goes anywhere else, that person, church, or thing becomes antichrist, in place of Christ, an idol. Jesus laid out the condition of staying well. Stop sinning. The churches refuse to accept that truth. Churches have put their faith in nuts, fruits, vegetables, and grains. They have put their faith in clothes and the abstinence of coffee, drugs, alcohol, and tea. They have put their faith in their pastor, church, and denomination. But they have not put their faith in Jesus and his truth. Stop sinning, be perfect, and keep the 10 Commandments to get your eternal life. To get to heaven, you must clean church and sin out of your life. I have found this true in my life. So the Jews were trying all the harder to kill him because he was not only breaking the Sabbath, but was also calling God his own Father, thereby making himself equal to God. Oh, how sad that the church could not rejoice over a soul saved from years of misery. They could not rejoice over a healing. Since he broke the church rules and laws, they were ready to commit murder. I have found that same behavior in our churches today. I was giving a Bible study in a church one Sabbath when the elders came and physically picked me up and threw me out. They hated the truth. I was teaching them to stop sinning, be perfect, and to keep the 10 Commandments to get their eternal life, and they did not want to hear it. The sad part was, it was a church that kept the Sabbath. Well, they went to church on the seventh day, but they kept their businesses open on Sabbath. What hypocrites. And they thought God loved them for going to church on the Sabbath. How brainwashed they were. Jesus told them, "Truly I tell all of you with certainty, the Son can do nothing on his own accord, but only what he sees the Father doing. What the Father does, the Son does likewise." Wouldn't it be wonderful if our churches lived as Jesus lived? If they would do only what they see the Father doing? If each of us would give our lives to Jesus instead of to church, what a difference our lives would make in this world. Do nothing on your own accord, but only what you see the Father and Jesus doing. The Father loves the Son and shows him everything he is doing, and he will show him even greater actions than these, so that you may be amazed. God the Father cannot love the churches when they are doing it their own way. The Bible shows us what happens to churches who refuse to be obedient to Jesus. We see the example all through the Bible. Revelation tells us what will happen again to those who refuse to work for Jesus. If you are working for your church, you are not working for Jesus. The Bible warns us all church organizations are classified as Babylon, a whore, and the Antichrist in the Bible. Get out, work for Jesus, and he will show you great and mighty things. Just as the Father raised the dead and gives them life, so also the Son gives life to those he chooses. Eternal life is not for everyone. It is only for those he chooses. Whom does he choose to give life to? To those who are obedient to him, those who live by his words, to stop sinning, be perfect, and to keep the 10 Commandments to get eternal life. The Father judges no one, but has given all authority to judge to the Son, so that everyone may honor the Son as they honor the Father. Whoever does not honor the Son does not honor the Father who sent him. Truly, I tell all of you with certainty, whoever hears what I say and believes in the one who sent me has eternal life and will not be judged, but has passed from death to life. And how do we honor the Son? Those honor the Son who hears what I say and believes. If you are not listening to and believing what Jesus commands, you are not honoring him. To claim to be a Christian while disobeying Jesus is an affront to Jesus. If you think he will take you to heaven because you go to church, you are mistaken. Believe in Jesus and obey what he commands you to be. Perfect. Stop sinning and keep the 10 Commandments to get your eternal life. Right now, Jesus is in heaven opening the books of each and every person who has ever lived on this earth. He is judging each person by their words and actions. Are you living to be judged worthy of heaven? Thank you for joining JCPM and Jesus Christ for another video Bible study.